Peace be unto you. As Elijah the prophet ascended unto heaven in a chariot of fire, so the consciousness of the Son of God, understanding the passage of identity through the channels of life into immortal purpose, is raised out of the socket of mortal density to the great fiery world of victorious overcoming. I am Zarathustra of the Lord's host, a being of fire. I come forth in order to cement into your consciousness the power of universal reality that identifies with the self. I want to anchor that thought. I want to create in you a clean heart and renew in you a right spirit, that you will understand the grace of God, the immortal principle of the fire of the sun, as it releases its energy through everyone within the reality of the force field of the soul. For the soul, the living soul of individual identity, in the beginning was charged by the fiat of Almighty God with the power of his perfection, saying unto man, that which I behold in you is very good. This power of cosmic reality, anchored within the heart, within the force field of the individual, is the creative purpose of life that must be outworked in the realm of the individual by each one as he comes to know and to submit himself unto the divine plan and seek the fulfillment of that plan in his individual life. We who understand the methods of both going and coming into the world of form, we who travel upon the wings of the air, we who walk upon the bosom of the ocean, we who enter with ease the heart of the earth, we understand the meaning of the flow of identity from the consciousness of separation, individualization, and human enterprise into the divine purposes of immortal life, out of the domain of individual harnessing into the realm of universal freedom. For the power of the world to come is the power of freedom and the flame thereof. It is the power of freedom that each individual can drink into and be made aware of. Oh, there are so many outer magnets. These seek to pull the consciousness down into densification, oversimplification of ideas, and sometimes into over-complexification of ideas. For humanity are often tricked and deceived by human effluvia stored in the ethers in which men walk. Human creation leaves its imprint everywhere. The footprints on the sands of time that are nothing but human mud and residual darkness. We would transmute that darkness by the power of the God flame into that beauty and supreme reality that will give everyone their absolute freedom from mortal thought and feeling, so that they can clean escape from the realm of mortal pursuit into the realm of divine pursuit. Then, as in Francis Townsend's poem, The Hound of Heaven, they will feel the hot breath of reality coming ever closer unto them. And with that reality, they will realize the meaning of the beautiful thought, our God is a consuming fire. For man, throughout the centuries, have often feared fire. They have misunderstood it. They have not understood the power of the fire, nor the reality of the fire. They have felt that the fire would destroy them, when in reality, the power of the fire of God will heal them of all their diseases, transmute their darkness into light, and produce that miracle of cosmic grace, that alchemical miracle whereby the surface and deep dross of mortal thought and feeling will come to the surface where it can be skimmed off. The scum of life, the residue, the pain-producing conditions that will always create betwixt the very atoms of mankind's physical form and the very neurons of the brain, those darkened wedges that actually make of man a misanthrope in the universe. Whereas God would honor him as a son. I commend unto you tonight the sacred fire as the vehicle that will elevate you as Elijah of old into a chariot of the ascension flame. I commend unto you the use of the violet transmuting flame. I commend unto you the use of spiritual grace. I commend unto you the girding up of the powers of the mind, the focusing of the mind into the realm of the God thought that produces the miracle of freedom. For the miracle of freedom is the inward craving of every soul to be free even from the body consciousness at will, from the sense of oppression and the pit of desire, to be free from shadows and forms that cause distress, to be free of the yearning to have the respect of mortal opinion, to be free from the need to have a sense of outer accomplishments. Oh, beloved ones, if you will only yield tonight your beings unto your own mighty I Am presence, and forsake the idea that you yourself, by some inward compulsion, must make your own mark of achievement in the world, and will understand that the fulfillment of your universal purpose, under the direction of your own mighty God presence, is the greatest gift that can ever come to any individual. You do not need to plan extensively for every activity and manifestation of that life which is just around the corner, as you submit your life to your own God presence with that supreme confidence and understanding that it is the will of God for you that you be released from every outward condition that holds you bound. You will soon come to an understanding where you will no longer lean upon the arm of flesh or mortal achievement for the fulfillment of happiness within the domain of your individual self. I tell you that when this occurs, it will be a great victory for your outer self as well as your inner self. For the outer self will also feel the saturation of the great God power as that power begins to take dominion in your lives, and you see that there is within you a living witness of cosmic reality. When you feel that power, the power of the sacred fire in your lives, and you come to understand that by that creative power and essence, you can mold every thought according to the idea of the divine plan, you will plainly perceive that you are, even now, a co-creator with God of all good things. And then, because you will be able to take dominion over outer conditions, you will know the fullness of the meaning of the word, take dominion over the earth. For the first time in your lives, you will realize that God has surrendered himself to thee, that he has made available to you the means of your immortal freedom. of the power whereby you can transmute every condition you do not like, that you do not enjoy in your lives, into an overcoming victory. The fulfillment of the role of the individual becomes then so much easier, because you see, you are then yoked with God. You are united with Him in that magnificent opportunity of fulfilling by mutual contract the grace of God in outer manifestation. And where God goes, I say to you all, there goes victory. And victory, which is the power of your presence in your lives, will wrought that change which no outer condition or mental wisdom or human creation can ever do. It will produce the miracle of all life in you from time immemorial, and the healing of all outer conditions and conditions of turmoil in the soul and of struggle for recognition. For when God recognizes you, because you recognize Him, in this pact of cosmic mutuality, there will be released into your world the cosmic energy you require for the fulfillment of the divine plan here and now, and you will need not to wait for it any longer. You will know within your own selves that you have achieved a very definite step toward a higher goal, and you will understand that that step, in its individual momentary accomplishment, is but the forerunner of another, and another, and another, until at last all steps will be fulfilled in the victory of your ascension in the light. Won't you then, precious ones of the light, accept from me, in God's name, as an instrument of the cosmic, the power of the victory of God in your lives here and now? Won't you understand that nothing needs to be impossible unto you if you will recognize the power and pressure of your presence to fulfill it? The presence of God, the presence of immortal life that beats your heart, that fulfills your immortal destiny, is taking command of your world now. It is establishing there the understanding of your unity with God that will create the power and pressure of the light in your world that can never, and I say never, be brought under the dominion of human outer conditions, so long as you will give your presence the power to take control of your world. When you do this, precious ones, you will find such a release in your feelings, such a release in your hearts, in your relationship toward humanity and toward God, that you will no longer feel that sense of struggle that continually has gone on almost from the beginning of your origin unto the present time. Won't you accept that now and be free? Won't you understand that this is God's grace conveyed through the instrumentation of myself unto you? That this is a gift from Him to quicken upon the planetary body the power and presence of the angelic hosts? For today, this hour, and tonight, wherever mankind are, there is always a struggle, a constant struggle to find reality. But we know that the great cosmic law of universal love will actually tangibly descend onto the planetary body tonight and remain throughout the Christmas season and on into the new year for at least 7 days, according to the request that we have made. The angelic hosts, then, that are actually the angels of the sacred fire, are descending tonight upon Mount Ararat, where the Ark of Noah long ago rested. And from the east there, at Ararat, they will radiate out to the entire planetary body the great power of the lightning ray that cometh from the east and goeth unto the west. And I tell you that they will make excursions around the earth daily, singing joyously to the hearts of humanity and quickening in them the pulsations of that universal love, which I am, which the God Self in you also declares, I am, which you also can ratify by your own declaration, saying, I am. As you do this, precious ones of the light, it shall come to pass that we shall recreate the eternal grace of God in this day and age as the saving grace of humanity, to lift their thoughts out of the coarseness of destructivity and raise them to the sense of cosmic victory that is the fulfillment of the light, as the light takes dominion over the darkness in form and produces that miracle of cosmic Christ love that is the miracle of the ages for each one, achieved now, for now, achieved tomorrow, for tomorrow, achieved in eternity, for eternity. For all is love, and love is in all. And I am a being of the sacred fire, commending you unto the desire of the perfection of that cosmic moment when all darkness within you shall be turned into light, when all ignorance shall be turned into knowledge, when all sorrow shall be turned into joy, when all that binds you to the earth shall be turned into the release of your freedom, and you shall ascend as Elijah did to the heart of your God presence, victorious and forever free in the light. In God's name, I thank you. May his peace as a mantle rest upon this age, and may its destiny be fulfilled collectively and individually. Out of my heart have I spoken, for I am Zarathustra of the Zend. The gentle pursuit of holy wisdom is easy to be entreated. For as the soul comes alight with the glow of celestial fires, the holy realities that are born therein as inward illumination convey to the senses the reality of peace. Struggle ceases when men understand the naturalness of cosmic law, when their hearts are able to open as gently as a flower from bud into the majesty of natural realization. And how joyous the ascended hosts are as a spirit of gratitude begins to fashion from within the magnet of the cosmic touchstone, which wields together the precious power of comprehension of the whole reality of life in one magnificent panorama of cosmic reality. The old ages of the past, with their dim yet shining remnants of cosmic reality, strew the path of the present with the glory of former times, when the light of the golden rule was obeyed. For obedience to the golden rule is obedience to the pulsations of wisdom's flame. For karma is ended, that is to say, all negative karma that brings pain and struggle, when the soul is made to know that whatsoever it sends out into the world, into the domain of universal manifestation, will surely return to it, and without fail. Out of this realization should also be born the cosmic law of rewards, the gentle grace that is captured within the idea of obedience. For obedience to the law of God is also the best part of holy wisdom. It is a natural enfoldment, engulfing the trivia in manifestation within man, and putting into perspective the supreme pulsations that exalt upon the mountain of reality the love of the Lord. For his love is with mankind throughout all generations. But his love is often ignored as men are allured temporarily by the pull of the senses to other magnets and other ideas. In their struggle and sense of shadow and pain, there is then no fashioning of the summit reality of existence, but always a dipping into the dregs of manifestation, which will never, in all eternity, bring men to the passion of freedom that the flame of wisdom embodies. The flame of wisdom is magnificent in its outreach, and we behold then the hour and the day coming when holy wisdom will perform her perfect work, when humanity, magnetized to the feet of the universal Christ, will behold him as a symbol of the gifted teacher of the nations, who comes forth in order to draw the nations to the feet of God. And when the fires of the heart are kindled anew, they create a pathway to the mind, that there can be produced the perfected blending of the fires of love and devotion for the wisdom of the mind, as it draws from the heart of God the power of the light that frees, the power of the light that sees, the power of the light that is, the power of the light that will raise all into the perfection of the all moment. when the doorway, the great cosmic doorway to reality, swings open, and man leaves behind him the shreds of darkness, torn to bits by the lightning power of eternal faith. God is love, and because he is love, all other things pale into insignificance. God is wisdom, and because he is wisdom, ignorance vanishes in the sunburst of his love. Wisdom and power. God is power, and the power that thunders from the mountains is the gentleness of the stirring of the pond of the inner reality as the ocean seeks to draw the inner reality of the still pond of being into its own heart of light, pulsating with the power of the universal. And then, as the shining dewdrop of the inner reality slips gently into the sea, we find no loss of identity, but only a freeing of the self from the realm of mortal domain, from the realm of separation, of pain, of error, of blame, of deceit, conceit, arrogance, and destruction. For all are identifiable with the ego, and with the ego's strange sense of struggle. It can never endure in its state of separation, and yet it continues to its dying gasp to try to control all of the elements of reality within the domain of the person. And the person is the Son of God, perfect in delight, gentle in majesty, yet all-powerful, standing on the hillside and declaring to all the world, all power in heaven and earth is given unto me. For your holy Christ selves, beloved ones, has the power, wields the power, and is the balance of universal reality within the soul, transmitting through this mediatorship every grace and perfection into the domain of the personal person, changing all darkness into light, the radiance of the eternal fires conveyed by the holy wisdom of universal manifestation pulsate here at Lake Titicaca and out into the world as the wisdom of the new age that seeks to unite mankind and convey to them the love reality that gave birth to all manifestation in nature, that is the consummation of pure perfection, as perfection seeks by its own grace to burn out of mortal manifestation all the darkness and strands of dense substance captured by man within the net of the ego as it rants and raves and performs its convolutions and revolutions against the forces of harmonious manifestation. We are concerned then upon this glorious Thanksgiving Day set apart by your nation in commemoration of the grace of God that brought to these shores the pilgrims of old seeking a better city, the city of God, that light which they established upon these shores is an eternal flame, unquenchable and subduing darkness. We submit therefore to you the power of the law, the power of the law of the higher mind that suppresses, when it is called into action, those manifestations of human passions and desires that are always determined to snuff out the brilliance of the cosmic torch by causing the damp and sullen earth to be thrown against the torch to quench its unquenchable flame. Though they extinguish it in the minds of some momentarily and snuff out the vision of hope that was once vouchsafed to them, I say to you that in the domain of the living God that torch shall burn on. It shall never die. Its pulsations shall grow and expand, more glorious still, until at last, as a manifestation of his radiant, unquenchable will, the very soul of man shall see that God in all eternity, even the words, the sum, esse, to be, are one fragment of reality which holds within itself the key touchstone by which all reality can be known and loved. And with reality, do as Solomon long ago conveyed, with all thy getting, O mankind, get thee wisdom, for wisdom cometh forth from God, and the flame of his wisdom is a fire that will show the artist how to tap the secrets of the universe of beauty, how the musician can evoke the myriad, infinite waves of harmony from the continents of the air, evoking them then into manifestation to the ear, that the ear may hear the prayers of angels borne on wings of song, that harmony may fill the soul, radiating all day long, and flooding forth to fill the world with cosmic joys increase. I am the Lord thy God. To thee I bring my cornucopia of wisdom, love, and peace. I say to all, its coffers never empty are. They blend the soul with God magnificence, coming forth from near and far. This is light and love and joy. It guides the souls of men. It wipeth up from every spill the fullness of all stain, absorbing then the darkness of the world without God's love, and shining forth the radiance of a newborn hope each hour. And so, as I, Meru, speak to you this day, it is to encourage you to always be ready to begin again each time it seems that hope and joy are put out by some form of dank and dark condition. Realize that the light is over all, and the light is the power that Christ referred to long ago when he said, if these should hold their peace, I say, the very stones would cry out. And so the celestial power of God is revealed in the rocks, in the atomic and electronic structure of matter, of energy, of mind power, of all things. For his name is God. He is the God of the whole earth. Being I am, he saith, and man, who with listening ear conveyeth to his soul the sense of this reality, shall be made whole then and there, in exact proportion to the amount of the holy wisdom he manifests in his life pattern by his walk. For to talk with God is not enough, but to walk with God fulfilleth the law. And in this walk of purity and holiness, men and women, children all, as pilgrims, come to the fount of holy illumination, science blending its great power and passion for ease and freedom to the being of man, even as religion, uniting with science, finds out those secrets of the past that convey new ease and freedom to all, to love without reserve, to cast aside those seemingly needed protections of the outer world, when you are able and grasp the mighty power of God in one comprehensive whole that breaks the bread of life as the eternal scripts that are able to be comprehended in their totality and not employed against one another as men seek to disprove the great cosmic law, which itself is its own best proof, wherever it manifests in any form, for each part of holy wisdom as it is released from the cocoon of man's ignorance, releases also the beauty that is within, not manifest in the vision of the worm within, but in the butterfly released to fly upward toward the sun. The sky, then, is aglow with the hope of a new age. The sky is aglow with the universities of the Spirit. The sky is aglow with the wisdom of God. Now hear it, I say. Men have said that fear is the beginning of wisdom. And it is so. For that fear which is holy awe, that recognizes the infinity of God manifesting in the finite, is able to accept the rod of truth and welcome it until at last all rebellion, resentment, revolution, all manifestation of shame and struggle becomes the evolution of the soul as it puts on more and more in each age of the radiance ever revolving in the turning worlds, the cosmic fire of the central sun of hope that's long ago been begun, but now again will speak anew to all, releasing into view the power to call for freedom for the self, and understanding clearly that freedom is the highest gift of God, will recognize wisdom as the key to all who would be free. I thank you. The goddess Meru saluted you. Those at Lake Titicaca and the brothers of the golden robe salute you. Holy wisdom's mantle falls as fire from the sun. Holy wisdom's mantle falls, freeing everyone. The acolyte does stand in faith. He sees the path to God. The acolyte feels faith increase. He loves beneath God's rod. Peace be unto you.
Starlight, dream children night. When I'm calling you, will you answer too?
fruit of cosmic endeavor that through the ages has sought to raise humanity in consciousness to a place where the bliss of God, as the blazing fire of reality, could teach them how to master their lives and come under the domain of thy destiny, O God. Reveal then to humanity today, in the innermost secret parts of their heart, all that thou, O God, didst foreknow from the beginning as the master plan of the individual monad. Lower them into form the perfection, the valor, the honor, the beauty, the reality, the penetrating power of God victory that will enable each monad to focus within himself the power of the flame triumphant, the flame of personal triumph over death, over discord, over darkness, and over deceit. Reveal in its place the immortal foundation stone of cosmic truth as the blazing reality that is the living proof of God incarnate within man. The mighty God flame descending into the chalice brings to humanity a renewal each day of cosmic adventure, a sense of hope, a sense of transcendence, a sense of release from all darkness and oppression. When you come under the radiation of the ascended masters, when you are able to fathom the depths of the love of God, to fashion within the domain of your mind a real sense of that fragile beauty which God himself has compounded as the consciousness of the angels, you will understand that although he made you a little lower than they, he has crowned you with more glory and honor. And this includes the consciousness of the angels. Their consciousness is yours. It is the forte and honor of cosmic opportunity. For opportunity vests mankind with the mantle of reality. Opportunity creates new opportunity. And each age is given the torch of immortality and victory. If they cast it in the dust, if they spurn it, if they refuse to acknowledge its power, that flame, because it is God's life, will not go out in the universe, even if it goes out in the domain of the personal self, with its great train of human idiosyncrasies, by which the world is bound to a round that we ourselves must call the round of human stupidity. For there is nothing more ridiculous in life, precious ones of the light, than that humanity would work so bitterly to oppose their own good. Yet this they do, and have done for centuries. Violations of old have brought forth the hand of God, writing on the temple walls, Mene, Mene, Tekel the parson. Thou art weighed in the balances and found wanting. And I, Casimir Poseidon, have seen the effect upon humanity of the juggernaut of judgment as it came forth. In that moment, humanity are ever ready and willing to change, to mend their ways, to make any promise, no matter how fragile, if only the gods will intercede. Give me another chance. They say not about the millions of opportunities that they have had and spurned, but give me another chance that I may once again produce the law. This is what they are saying. And when the car of judgment comes to their gateway, and the great karmic lords stand before them and say it is enough, they are never willing or ready to accept that judgment, but always to give the hollow mockery of empty promises to the powers of light and say, give me another chance and I will do it. I say to you then that there must be an end to this ceaseless intercession on the part of humanity for a continuation of the wrong actions that have brought down civilizations in the past and destroyed them. Men must somewhere or another in life, individually and collectively, come to the place, Marcy, where they will be able to recognize the sacred fire upon the altar as the only reality of life. When they understand that, when they accept that, when they realize that God alone is real, they will perceive that the good health that they seek is ever the manifestation of their divine self, the divine life. The life of God that beats their heart must take dominion over them because they will it so as He wills it so. Through this great spirit of balance, this gentle acceptance of the individual monad, of the cosmic intent for his own life, there comes into manifestation in the mind and being of man that perfect balance of life, which will enable him to take the precious gift of the fruit of life and squeeze the essential oils to provide the light for the cosmic flame to blaze in that transmutative reality that is the endeavor of God working through the lively stones that compose the temple divine to create that perfection and peace which is the cubic stone of the master mark mason. Let men understand then, for I speak now in this hall of ancient masonry, that the love and the destiny of the planet is ever in the hand of the Lord. You as an individual are the great door. And if you will envision with the living Christ this power and principle in your lives, it will enable you to echo with Him, I am the door. And you will feel no sense then of desire to seek outside of yourself for a Savior. For the Savior that is Christ the Lord is born in thee this day, and His star is seen in the east within, a blazing and dazzling light of crystalline brilliance that enables you to read when you will, Akasa, to spurn when you will to see, and to hold to the immaculate concept, and to understand the need to switch into the realm of duality at times, and then again to with singleness of vision adhere only to the presence that beats your heart. For there are three principles that you should comprehend. The principle of the one as the apex of the triangle, and the two dots below are the duality that represent the dual vision. Both must be integrated into the cosmic code of the transmutative triangle of life. And when the dual vision at last has fulfilled its functional purposes for your world, the mighty power of the apex of the triangle, the upper light, God, will take dominion in your world, and God will be all and in all. And then you see all other manifestations that compose the triad will bow in the unity of the one. And the dot in the center of the circle will be all of them. From center to periphery then will go the great blazing rays, the power of Ra, the sacred light that always goes out not to dazzle or bedazzle, but to create a sense of reality. For God desires children of God. He desires only to let the blazing sense of His reality be born in you, that you may have that integral quality of realization that makes the monad, the one, a part of all life, true brotherhood compound the kingdom of heaven. In memory of Abraham of old, to whom God said, Behold, I will make thy seed as the sands of the earth innumerable, and as the stars of the sky. In this fiery manifestation of divine reality comes to birth in every individual in the domain of his being the realization that the power of the one is the power of the many, that the power of the many is the power of the one. The cross of life holds upon it the promise of continuity, world without end, immortality in the domain of divine destiny, immortality that is not dust, but destiny, immortality that is life, light, love, and never death, or annihilation, or destruction, or that nirvana which men have thought in their worldly wisdom to conceive of as the extinguishing of the self, but rather the transmuting of the self by the power of the light of God that never fails, to the place where each individual monad, raised up to that great cosmic door, walks through into the roads of his mastery and freedom, to teach humanity to elect the peace and wisdom of the profound path that will ultimately provide for all a platform of reality. Let no man take thy crown. Let no man take thy crown. Let no man take thy crown. Let no manifestation take thy crown. Let no fragment of human nonsense or morsel of delicious delight rob you of your spiritual treasure, for your spiritual treasure is the power whereby you will be elevated to the fullness of his will for you. As I behold the awful activities of this age that seeks to wreak havoc and destruction upon humanity, upon the youth that are pledged to inherit the future, I remind you of the need for diligence each day, for a continuation of the work of this endeavor that has become a redundant prayer, an abundant prayer, a prayer of beauty. Redundant only in the sense that so many have added their efforts to it, and so many will, that it will seem to those who gaze upon it as though we are experiencing a duplication of effort. But I say not so, for to this central star of purpose are all intended to bring the tools of their craft, that they will be able then to erect in the temple of self the universal temple, that as it shines forth from the domain of self, it shines forth in the universal, that as it shines forth to the eyes of the elect, it will open the spiritual eye of oneness as potential to the whole world, until the glory of God will fabricate out of the seed of immortality the fires of the sun to create What is the thought of beauty? It is the celestial fire that the hills of heaven frame, glowing, iridescent. This beauty is received within the heart. It is known, it is loved, it is real. We come then today that we may rekindle the fires of the heart. We would create a new sense of glowing beauty, a new sense of reality. We would have you to see the fairest, the most glorious, the purest, the most radiant is the consciousness of God. You say this is not your own. I say it is. You should receive this consciousness as the consciousness of self. It alone is real. The puny consciousness that mortal men consider their own is but a leaky tin vessel. And the muddied water contained therein sprays out in every direction. And it creates musty odors in the world. And it creates despair. we would replace this, all of this lesser consciousness, with the consciousness of the light. My words are healing barbs. They come not to entangle, but to free. They come not to confuse, but to heal confusion. They come not to create despair, but to create joy. The radiance is everywhere, but recognition is not. The radiance lives, but those who dwell in a state of non-recognition, they perish in that state. We come to cleanse and to give life, to provide a new sense of freedom, to assuage the hungers of the soul, to captivate the emotions, yes, but more important, to captivate the mind of direction, the rudder of being, that we may steer the whole vessel to a safe harbor. Moria asks, what is destiny? Moria asks, where are the radiators of destiny? Where are they who will fulfill the divine command? Carry out my will, saith the Lord. And men ask, where is the will of God? Because they do not find it within themselves, they suppose that it is not there. Because they do not find it in the universe, they suppose that it is not there. Simply because they do not find it, they assume that it does not exist. And this is so also of the very nature of God. Let men learn then to externalize pathways to hierarchy. Let them learn to cultivate new currents in the air, ascending currents, conductors of God magnificence. Let them understand their responsibility to weave the thread of contact, and if the shaft of light from on high embellish it and make it a true contact, let them rejoice. But let them understand, and understand well, that the soul of man, the being of man, the consciousness of man, the full expression of the monad, must itself enter in willingly and with the fullness of consecration into the idea of contact. Humanity today seek to contact reality in all that they do, and only the few are actually those who by reason of foolishness can wander away from the light and rejoice. Most men today consider that they are moving toward the light even when they walk in darkness. They say they seek the light of happiness, of joy, of sense experience, of pleasure, to be recognized. But what is it that seeks recognition? It is the God within that seeks recognition. But men cannot expect that just because the peasant bows to the king, that the king is honored thereby. For he who would honor the king brings also the gift of his highest self. He brings the jewels of purity. He brings the gold of illumined intelligence. He brings the sweet frankincense of devotion. All of these gifts that are brought to the feet of the infant Messiah. All of these speak of the giving of good things to one another, and whether one is king or peasant is not nearly so important as consciousness. For when one has the consciousness of the mind of God, the fires upon the mountain gleam brightly within the firmament of the mind, and at those moments the world is woven together into a comprehensible whole. There is no darkness in such a one, for he cannot bear it. All that is around him, all that he sees, the full multiplication of consciousness from the one into the many, is ever an expression of the one. Nowhere can he go that he wants to escape from the consciousness of the one, for the one is all, and everything is enhanced by the beauty of the one. Man is a monad, God is a monad, all life is an expression, a monadic expression. Why then will men seek to create duplicity? Why will they seek to create caves of darkness in which they dwell? Why do they seek in separation to enhance themselves, when only by consonance with the higher worlds will the fires of the Spirit reveal the reality of the kingdom to everyone? We come then today not as a tiger who stalks his prey, but we come as the Raja of the Spirit, to create then the royal sense in the consciousness, to purvey the great ruby of immortal price. What then does this mean? It means the inward fires are lit, and when the inward fires of the heart are lit, there is no darkness in that one. For darkness that comes sometimes as an unseen and unbidden guest cannot linger long where the heart is ablaze with the melody of the Spirit. Where the melody of the Spirit is the inward song that creates a sense of worth in life. Not only the worth of the individual, but the worth of all. The purposes of life, when understood, are the highest gift, for the mind is illumined by them. And when the mind is illumined by them, the Christ appears. He comes not only to east, but to the west. He comes to unite, and he comes to sunder. Men must understand that when he sunders, when he cuts men free from degradation, they should rejoice, for degradation that often masquerades as though it were happiness is itself full of deceit, and wise is the man that shuns it. For life is a palace with many rooms, yet happiness should be in each room. Wherever gloom is, we say there is an absence of the photic spark, of the vibrancy of life. There is an absence of reality. There is a breach in the wall, through which the dust of serfdom comes upon man and surrounds him. He is no longer crowned with reality, but he walks in a beggar's robes, and he reaches out his hand and saith, "Help me." But he giveth no help to any man or to any part of life. He remains then despondent and despairing, a wanderer in the universe. The cycles of life are uninterpreted by him, and the imaginations of his heart are but a wanderlust that seeks to find in the curiosity of life some new thing, but rejects the reality that surrounds him as a mighty ocean of vibrant power. The power of the Lord is at hand. He comes not only from Bengal, but also from Singapore. He comes not only from Jaipur, but also from the islands in the sea. He comes from the continents, and he is in the heart of the king as well as the heart of the beggar. He is the Lord, and in him there is only the sound of Om, the sound of Om that vibrates the dust and causes the dust to raise, that vibrates the dust and makes shining worlds out of it, until at last the miracle of universal consciousness is seen everywhere, a sea of hope from which men do not desire to escape. A brilliant mind that, like a shining diadem, a diamond of the will of good, seeks always to convey the water of life, not by mystique, but by revelation of mystery. We seek then not to veil, but to unveil. We seek then not to discourage, but to encourage. We seek then not to create a sense of failure for any, but to create a sense of God's success for all. For when the crowning sense of victory is recognized by man, he holds out hands to the king and saith, "Give me, O Lord, this gift of victory, this gift of the sense of victory, that I may be complete. For without thee I am but one who is not. But with thee I am all things. I am complete within myself. I am complete within thy light, and thy light completes its perfect work in me." This is the will of God, the building of the temple, the building of the pyramid, the building of reality and its spirals, concentric rings of light, that as cycle stairs are climbed by all. Little ones hanging on the lower rings gaze upward at the stronger climbers with hope and shining eyes. Those who are above gaze downward even as they gaze upward, for they see the link with hierarchy as one that must hold to hands above as to hands below. For all of life, moving onward, forward, still, in progress bolder, holds the glow ray of the Lord of life that comes as maturity, not to make men grow older, but wiser in the hands of God, as clay or plastic substance. Molded then are these by graces from on high, the presence of the Holy Spirit, fire of life flowing as a breeze, radiating, moving on all life, on men that walk as trees planted in the Lord's garden by the side of the flowing river of life. They stand tall, ever present in his holy band, radiating a new sense of wonder, for they understand that God has come not to plunder from their lives all that they have and are, but rather from the skies to send new hope as brilliant star. I am the Word of God that lives in men, declares to all, I will defend thyself against all darkness, make a covenant with thee to raise thee, set thee ever free. When you understand the meaning of life, your hearts will surge as a tempest. When you understand the meaning of life, the harmony of the spheres will ring you round about with fire. When you understand the meaning of life, fill you then with God desire. No more will you be captured by the tin cup consciousness of the beggar who goeth forth to beg, but you will stand erect upon your very legs and say, O God, I am thy son, a star of hope to be. I am thy son, my life thy own, I am forever free. I am thy son, I see thee in the smile of every child upon the earth, of all who are worthwhile, for hope within the sweet and simple smile of child can be transferred to those of elder years, whose countenance then God fired and mild, redeemed not by human tears or human fears, but by the hope that comes then from a distant sphere, but ever draweth nigh, is progress to the world, yea, progress from on high. Receive then the grace of the will of God that surrounds you, not with shroud, but surrounds you with hope, a hope that bows to God in every man, a hope that exalts in all the plan, the plan, the plan. For in the plan, the purposed plan, is the will of God made known. And everyone that understands this law will understand that all that he has sown of human discord tangle round his feet, is but the law of karma, recompense that's meet, returning juggernaut and fear to those who've sent it out. And God would say to everyone, today is not the time to pout, but hold your faith and face as though it were the faith and face of God. For then I think that you'll rejoice beneath his rod and say, thy law is love, O God. Come now within my being. Thy law is love, O God. Come now within my seeing. Thy law is love, O God. Come now by sacred word and utter forth right through my voice the power men had heard in elder days, when elder art did wrought supremely then to show the radiance God did start, the power of his pen to write a word that men could hear, a sense that they could feel, a soul that they could grasp as theirs, a power of light to heal. And when 'tis done, the world will be one, the tapestry complete, the mastery of life revealed will bring you to his feet and raise you up to sit beside him on the throne on high. And nevermore will dust impart a sense that's futile to your being. Rather, single eye will see by eye that all is seeing in the hand of light supreme, where destiny is real. Right there thy God will manifest the power to seal the universe within the will of God descending now. Oh, won't you take it by the hand and say, oh God, I vow to do my best to see this light that bursts as new star in me. I pledge to keep my faith in thee till I am wholly free. Beloved, as I come to you today, mindful of the long way of man's becoming, it is to speak the encouraging word, the word that goeth out in the building of the pyramid of life. The cornerstone of perfection has been laid, and every man upon this planet should understand that he is a part, that he has a part reserved for him that no other can fulfill. When he understands that and grasps that principle, he beholds the will of God. And when he moves in that direction with all of his heart, with all of his mind, with all of his love, with all that he is, he will be fulfilling his portion of the eternal pyramid. He will be fulfilling his witness to the universe, the pledge of his faith in the destiny of the planetary body, the destiny of the hierarchy, the destiny of cosmic intent for every man, and the fulfillment of the initial purposes. The dawn of purpose came long ago, but the dawn of purpose to each individual comes as he awakens, and then, rubbing his sleepy eyes, he looks to the splendor of the morning skies, and he sees there the aureate glow of cosmic fire. And as he stands contemplating all of this, it is to enshrine it within the temple of self. And this is the meaning of contemplate. It means with the temple sense. And as man begins to envision that he is the temple of God, he will draw by the fires of his heart from the heart of the great magnet of life, the supreme indulgence of God's grace that creates a new sense in everyone who will receive it, that enables them to perceive that all of the weights that beset men to hold them bound to the earth and a seemingly purposeless round of life, ring by ring, engaged in human strife, is not at all that which the Father holds dear. In its place, he sees the vision of the eternal temple of being. He understands that he and he alone, as the knights of old, must go forth by his own personal quest to seek the Holy Grail, consciousness, without fail. For the light of God never fails, but human consciousness, when it is not tethered to the divine, fails often. And the sands of time run out, lifetime after lifetime, for men squander the substance of living and understand not that the purposes of life do not always come again according to some humanly conceived rhythmic cycle. They are governed by higher law, and oftentimes, although re-embodiment is true, individuals are barred from the temple of life and kept within the astral world, and within the world, waiting at the gates of life and death, that they may once again receive the precious treasure of embodied consciousness. Will you then today draw nigh to the temple of consciousness, to the temple of life? Will you draw nigh to that temple and understand that it is by grace that you live, that it is by grace that you receive this opportunity to live, and the purpose of all life is solely the unity of creation, to make you one with all that God is. When you then squander your lives by the senseless display of egoistic desire, it is simply an emptying of your being of the cosmic fire and a dashing of that fire to the earth element, where it is smothered thereby, and terror buries the sacred fire in her heart. Will you then understand clearly that the Christos that is in the heart of the earth must be nourished, that you must garland the sacred fire by the gift of sacred fire flowers, that you must make an offering daily as a ritual on behalf of self, that the will of God become kindled anew within you as the fires of the morning sun arise, that you should understand that all of the cycles of life are fountains of cosmic identity, that the pores of self must open and be cleansed, for they are little mouths, that all of mankind, the hungry body of God everywhere, desires to drink in the fires of his love and goodwill, that he and he alone bestows and instills his grace in men, but must be welcomed. Traveler, bid him welcome. Traveler, heed him when he calls. Traveler, seek him, for the hour is later than you think. And the pyramid of life rises, with you or without you. Your place reserved for you can be given to another. For it has been said of old and truly said, my spirit shall not always strive with flesh. Let men understand clearly then that the glorious bounty of opportunity given to all is one to be claimed by all. I, Moria of the Zend, I, Moria, out of the east, speak out of the light of the heart. The Christos calleth, the eternal and universal Christ. He sings in the hymns of every sacred order. He is the chief cornerstone of the temple immortal and invisible. He is the light of the world, the eternal, immortal, ever-living principle by which the worlds were framed. For the dust was framed by the immortal Spirit, that it should be and ought to be embellished forever by his blessing. Take then this cup I give you this day, and drink ye all of it as a communion with infinite reality. This reality lives in the will of God. It does not live in the human will, for the human will is centralized to the ego and is a son to the human ego. But the will of God is the son of the divine ego. And all who understand that will cognize the flowers of reality that fill space and hallow space, will cognize the fires of reality that gleam from near and far, will cognize the fires of reality that by their lines divergent and convergent are a star, a hope to every man. And may all men receive it, a hope to every man, and may no man deceived be by outer things or human rationality, for the God flame within burns on, it ne'er shall be quenched. It is a part of everyone's ceaseless quest. It is his surest living defense. The will of God, I say, is everything to everyone. The will of God is a burning, fiery blue and mighty cosmic sun. The will of God is true. It brings new hope to everyone. The will of God creates the sense within the soul that says, well done. My love surrounds you. Your love surrounds me. His love surrounds me. My love surrounds him. And he alone is love. Saint Germain speaks to us and saith, you have received the lost word, for the word of Moria, lost at the Pyramid Conference, has now been given. And it was this that was missed, that is now found. Let your spirits rejoice. That was just a telepathic communication from St. Germain. Sign of the heart and the head and the hand to you. May the peace of your presence abide with you wherever you are, wherever you go. May the glorious peace of your presence flow through days of service and nights of rest. May the peace of your presence keep you blessed. The sign of the heart, the head and the hand to you. May the eternal brotherhood of white fire, of cosmic magnificence, surround you with the consciousness of the Buddha and of the Christ, in the unity of the life that is within. So mote it be.